there's also a whole world of the unexplained beneath our feet. In this next story, something massive with huge claws seems to be tunneling through the Earth. Take a look.
There's a whole world of mysteries beneath our feet, in the galaxies and on the Earth. Natural creations that have been in existence before man sure hold more mysteries than we can imagine, like this shocking discovery made recently. Scientists have uncovered mysterious tunnels believed to have been created by ancient creatures. These secret passageways have sparked significant interest within the scientific community. What secrets do they hold? What information about the past or future can they tell? Join us as we explore the mysteries of the tunnels created by ancient beings that have left the whole world in shock. 10,000-year-old tunnel in South America. In the massive tunnel in South America that is at least 8,000 to 10,000 years old in the beginning, scientists found huge, well-constructed pits that geologists reached. These structures are unlike anything seen before, and their formation could not be explained by known geological processes.
They also have a really weird shape in that they're more horizontal than they are vertical.
Originally thought to be archaeological structures, it wasn't until the 1930s that scientists discovered claw marks that led them to believe they were giant sloths in the Paleolithic Amazon.
When you consider all the megafauna, you have only two animals with the necessary claws to build tombs: the armadillos and the sloths.
However, experts have many questions about its natural formation. Additionally, there are more than 2,500 Paleolithic boreholes in Brazil. Some are connected by tunnels that lead to chambers. Tunnels over the years have turned out to hold secrets of the past and future. Our next tunnel also held an intriguing find desired from centuries ago: Cleopatra's hidden tomb.
Archaeologists have discovered a vast tunnel under an ancient Egyptian temple that may lead to Cleopatra's lost tomb.
In November 1922, an important discovery was made in the desert mountains of Egypt. Geologists discovered a huge tunnel under an ancient Egyptian temple that could lead to severe consequences. A young scientist found ancient stairs carved into the rock that led to a new tomb.
The achievement is supposed to be the pyramid above us that rises out of the desert floor. But actually, it's this labyrinth. These tunnels just keep on going on and on and on.
This discovery revealed about 5,000 ancient artifacts such as jewelry, fabrics, painted vessels, and masks. Now, more than 100 years later, people are searching for Cleopatra's tomb. Archaeologist Dr. Kathleen Martinez, the last ruler of ancient Egypt, spent a lot of time studying the records and temples around Alexandria. Together with his team, they discovered so many temples during the time of Queen Cleopatra and the pharaohs.
We have uncovered so many important structures that prove this temple functioned as a temple during the time of Queen Cleopatra and the Greek pharaohs. So this could be the perfect place for Cleopatra's lost tomb.
He believes that Cleopatra's tomb lies beneath the ancient city of Taposiris Magna, built in 280 BC. Recent excavations have uncovered a hidden tunnel near Alexandria that suggests Cleopatra was buried there.
It's an entrance. We can see an entrance. It's so exciting. I need to see what is in there. It has been hidden for 2,000 years.
Perhaps with her friend Mark Antony. Taposiris Magna has been damaged by natural disasters over the years, making it difficult to dig. It was hidden for 2,000 years, but archaeologists think they can find great things about royal life in ancient Egypt during Cleopatra's time.
When I study carefully the last days of Cleopatra, I realized it was the beginning of a religious act that might end up with her being buried in a temple, and her lost tomb could be found there.
Digging can go underwater in mud, taking a lot of time, and it's not worth the money. But the pointer while digging is if they could probably find things like pots, coins, and her bust. Cleopatra is a famous figure in Egyptian history, and her story is in art and books. Her last days were the beginning of a religious act that may have led to her burial in the temple and possibly her lost tomb. She was intelligent, and a leader that made Egypt strong during difficult times. According to ancient texts, she knew about chemistry, mathematics, and philosophy, and maybe even helped in science. Cleopatra knew many languages and made good friends with other countries. Although she was Greek, she understood Egyptian customs and succeeded in administration. Cleopatra was clever in many situations. For instance, she wrapped herself in a carpet to gain the support of Julius Caesar.
Por el revés. Salve Cleopatra, pariente de Horus y Ra.
Stories are told of how Cleopatra passed on by being at the receiving end of snakes or poison, but the truth remains unknown. We have lots of surprises for you that might even leave you confused, such as this amazing nature's gift for mankind. The Boiling River. In the heart of the Amazon rainforest, there is an ancient story of a hot river that boils and captures the imagination of those who hear it. Many thought it was just a fictional story passed down from generation to generation. But then a geoscientist from Peru, André Rousseau, decided to check if this river was real. In the scientific world, the idea of a warm river seemed unlikely. Hot rivers are usually found in places where there are volcanoes, but the tale refers to an area where there are none. However, Andrés Rousseau did not lose hope. He continued and decided to find out the truth. In 2011, something big happened in the search for the mythical river. Contrary to all expectations, André Rousseau found it. And guess what? The water was really hot, almost boiling at 186 degrees Celsius. More surprising was the size of the river. You would normally think that a small pool like a hot spring would have warm water, but this river was different. It was a huge river 20 feet deep, stretching almost 4 miles in the vast river system of the country. It stood out as a unique mystery and showed that our plan for the unknown part was hidden. Sounds and rhythm are core to human communication. Sounds are limited due to their transmission abilities, but there's a hum that could be felt worldwide. What is making the sound? And what does it mean? Cryptic sounds are heard worldwide. There's another shocking revelation that might just send your mind racing worldwide. Imagine hearing a quiet, soft sound all the time and no one knows where it's coming from. About 4% of the world's population experiences this mystery, regardless of where they are on the map. It has different names given to it by its hearers, such as the Two's H or the Auckland H, depending on where it is heard. It's less noticeable outside, but it's loud indoors, especially at night. The confusing part is that once you hear it, you can't stop hearing it. Some say it may have originated in London during the time of Charles Dickens and refers to a low-frequency sound. However, the earliest documented cases date back to the mid-1970s in Bristol, UK. Scientists have different theories about the origin of humming and why only certain people hear it. The cause could be ocean waves shaking the Earth's crust, volcanic eruptions, earthquakes, or even very low-frequency radio signals used for underwater communications and 5G technology. There is also another mysterious sound called the upsweep, which was discovered in 1991 in the Pacific Ocean. This is a loud noise recorded across the ocean that can be attributed to underwater volcanic activity. Interestingly, its volume has decreased since its discovery, but it is still noticeable. This sound follows a seasonal pattern and is strongest in spring and fall. Whether this is related to seasonal changes is unknown. The next revelation is so shocking that it reminds us of the mysteries that nature holds. It talks about intriguing natural occurrences that seem extraordinary. Fireballs, that signifies Buddha's return to Earth. Every year, especially in October, an exciting natural phenomenon takes place on the Mekong River in Thailand, the appearance of fireballs. According to legend, these fireballs, known as Naga fireballs, are believed to mark the Buddha's return to Earth, and river snakes are credited with creating these traps. The explanation for these fireballs remains uncertain. Some speculate about the effects of flammable gases. These fireballs rise from the water and reach heights of almost 990 feet, resembling fireworks that disappear quickly and often glow with a reddish or orange color. According to legend, Atlantis sank into the ocean about 11,000 years ago. Since then, not only scientists, but also treasure hunters and philosophers have searched for this lost world. One interesting possibility arose in 1968 when a diver found peculiar stones off the coast of North Bimini Island in the Bahamas. These stones appeared to be man-made, evenly spaced, and arranged in an orderly manner, which initially confused scientists. Carbon dating analysis later showed that geological forces created the road naturally, without tool marks or signs of deliberate stacking. The research continues, but scientists are not resting on their laurels. The discovery of caves has been attached to earthing written, cities, or important individuals. But if it just contains another world different from ours, that is still thriving. A cave older than 5 million years. While visiting this cave, it shows that life in the Moville Cave has been cut off from the outside world for about 5.5 million years. Because of this long-term isolation, the cave has different conditions than other parts of the world. Despite the severe lack of sunlight and poisonous air, a unique ecosystem thrives there. Moville Cave, located a few kilometers west of the Black Sea in Romania, was originally discovered in 1988. The central caves are naturally hidden by narrow limestone tunnels and vertical shafts. Only half the oxygen outside the environment filters into the cave, and the cave has high levels of sulfur dioxide and carbon dioxide. Not the freshest air to breathe, plus the cave is completely black. But amazingly, or due to those very harsh conditions, it is a treasure of biologists. In a 1996 study, researchers found 48 species inside, 33 of which were unique to the cave. Most of these creatures are small, with long limbs and antennae that help them navigate in the dark. They lack vision and pigment, logical adaptations for living in complete darkness, and they are by no means beautiful. Now let's move on to another, the giant crystal cave of Mexico. It's also known as Crystal Cave. These huge crystals were discovered in 2000 by a mining company. While water was being pumped out of the cave, 2 miners entered and were amazed to see these amazing crystals. These massive gypsum stones are hidden in a 984-foot wall. Scientists believe that these crystals have been growing for about 500,000 years, which explains their impressive size. Some crystals are so big that you can walk over them. Unfortunately, it is currently impossible to visit this natural wonder, because a giant crystal cave can be dangerous and can easily become a trap. For thousands of years, it was filled with groundwater pushed up by a magma chamber deep underground. The magma kept the water warm, but over time, its temperature dropped below 136 degrees. Consequently, the water became saturated with calcium and sulfate, leading to the formation of gypsum crystals. These white crystals took over the cave and continued to grow. Let's visit another shocking revelation, which is the underwater black holes. This site is the best fit for an adventure. Scientists discovered the wonders of the ocean in the South Atlantic. Like black holes, these ocean wonders pull on things so strongly that not even light can escape. These ocean mysteries are called ocean eddies, or eddies. These are huge whirlpools that go against the normal flow of the ocean. The visual whirlpools are so big that they make cities look small, as billions of tons of water swirl with a force that engulfs everything. Thanks to the help of satellites, scientists discovered the invisible boundaries of these ocean eddies and showed that they are like mysterious black holes in space. These massive eddies have narrow edges that form closed circuits where the water moves with mesmerizing grace. Once inside, nothing escapes, not even water, spinning these dense ocean eddies. As you go deeper, you will notice that the water in these rotating tanks is different from the surroundings. It's not just about the temperature. The salt content dances to its rhythm and creates a unique underwater world. These oceanic versions of black holes are mysterious places where the normal rules of the sea take an unexpected turn. We have heard of different dancing styles ranging from tribes and cultures. But what if a tree is dancing? How do we qualify that? The dancing pine trees. On a narrow strip of land known as Corona Village, which separates the Baltic Sea from the Kura Bay, is a unique place called the Dancing Forest. The pine trees here are unusual. They twist and turn instead of standing straight. Some locals believe it is due to a clash of energies or the sandy soil causing the trees to sway. Others believe that strong winds from nearby water shape the trees into these strange formations. Experts have not agreed on the exact cause, which is why it remains a mystery. Now let's talk about the deep sea of southern Japan. Imagine finding underwater crop circles, not made by aliens, but by a small marine creature. In 1995, divers discovered these 7-foot-wide structures and named them mystery circles. For almost 16 years, people were confused until they revealed the secret. The artist behind these circles is a male fish. It takes the fish more than a week to create one of these underwater masterpieces. The fish swim inside the circle and use its fins to form valleys in the sand. Surprisingly, the fish even have aesthetics, collecting shells and corals for decoration. Why does this fish go through all this underwater art? It's not just for show. As the male fish glides through the water, he pushes the sand into the center of the circle and forms a mound. That mound becomes a beautiful nest for future generations of fish. There is a fascinating place in the Caribbean near Belize that makes explorers and adventurers speechless. It's called the Big Blue Hole. This huge underwater hole is 1,000 feet wide and descends over 400 feet. Long ago, it was a large cave, but as time passes, the cave collapses due to rising water and creates a large blue opening. When one dives into the clear waters of this deep blue wonder, a magical world emerges. The deeper you go, the darker it gets, and you will see caves decorated with hanging crystals. These crystal formations look like natural art frozen in time. But exploring these caves is not easy. It's a dangerous journey, and one can easily get lost. At about 50 feet down, the water begins to shimmer, revealing an invisible line between the salty upper layer and the fresh, mysterious depths below. All natural creations have their unique designs and functionalities, but more surprising are the cool mountains, apart from being climbed and hiked on. What secrets do they hold? The mountains that sings and dances at night. The quietness and peaceful serenity around the mountains sure holds some shocking tricks. There have been countless musical stories about mountains. They are not just rocks. They have their special songs and dances. Mount Everest, the great boss of the peaks, has a secret night music show that will shock you when it gets dark in the Himalayas. Strange choirs echo around Mount Everest. Scientists led by ice expert Ivy Podolsky revealed this when they explored the Himalayas in Nepal. During the day, scientists marveled at the sheer size and beauty of Mount Everest. The weather was good and helped work well, but at night, the temperature dropped sharply to 5 degrees Celsius, which created something interesting. The ice on the mountains will begin to break, and a roar will be heard that echoed in the valley. Using techniques commonly used to measure earthquakes, the team installed sensors on the surface of the glacier and listened carefully for vibrations. They also collected data on temperature and wind. They discovered the reason for this frozen concert, a sudden drop in temperature. Sensitive to these changes, the ice surface of the glacier cracks and cracks with a loud sound. This discovery is not just a sound. This is an important part for scientists studying ice and climate, especially in remote areas like the Himalayas. Studies show how fast Himalayan glaciers are melting, which is a big problem. Recent studies say that this ice has melted 10 times faster in the last 40 years than in the previous 700 years. But the Himalayas are not the only singers of the mountain group. For instance, Mount Matterhorn, every object on this mountain has its rhythm. Objects vibrate at certain frequencies because of their shape and structure. It's in the similitude of hitting tuning forks and wine glasses precisely, and they vibrate and rattle. It turns out that the mountains are not just silent sentinels. They are the rock stars of their unique concerts. Even the mountains have their rhythm. They vibrate uniquely. Geoffrey Moore and his team of adventurous scientists wanted to know if mountains can dance to their music. Just like bridges and tall buildings, they believed that the characteristic shapes of mountains can cause them to vibrate at certain frequencies called resonances. However, trying out this idea was quite challenging. Unlike buildings that engineers can shake or bridges that vehicles can drive over, mountains are massive and hard. Getting them started right is a challenge. Despite the difficulties, Moore and his team began a remarkable project. They tried to study how ground shaking affected the famous Matterhorn mountain. It leads to an additional discovery about this mountain called the Swaying Matterhorn. This towering pyramid-shaped mountain is at about 15,000 feet. This impressive mountain doesn't just stand there quietly. It has an exciting dance to share with the world. The sides of the Matterhorn are north, south, east, and west, so it is a special shape that captures the imagination. The researchers used helicopters to strategically place small devices called seismometers on the mountain. One sat on top, powered by solar energy, and looked like a small coffee cup. The other was under the floor of the mountain house, and the third sat at the bottom of the mountain. These tiny observers carefully recorded every movement of the mountain and made a surprising discovery. Although the movement of the Matterhorn was small, seismometers showed that it moved back and forth ever so slightly. The interesting part is that the top of the mountain moves up to 14 times more than the bottom during this rhythmic dance. Contrary to the belief that the mountain moves because of the wind, it is actually because of seismic energy. When earthquakes occur in different parts of the world, their energy travels through the earth, causing mountains like the Matterhorn to vibrate, adding a celestial touch to the dance of this mountain. The ocean's creative vibrations, called microcosms, as waves travel across the seabed. Surprisingly, the vibrational frequency of these oceans matches the graceful behavior of the Matterhorn. Their study shows an interesting connection between earthquakes and steep mountains prone to landslides and avalanches, giving us a new understanding and appreciation of these majestic peaks. They are artists who sway and vibrate deep underground to a mystical tune. Mountains also help create the words we use. Let's talk about how the mountains form the unique sounds of the language. It is said that the languages of high places have their special sound, which makes the way of speaking unique. Linguists studied 567 languages and found 92 of them interesting. There is a special sound called exhalation words, such as a strong K or C. These sounds are made by forcefully pushing air from the back of the larynx, creating bursts of speech. Surprisingly, English or European languages generally do not have these sounds. But some native languages of North America and the coast between the Black Sea and the Caspian Sea have these sounds. Tibetan languages in the mountains do not use adjectives, confusing language experts. It's a bit of a mystery, and scientists have some ideas. One is that these sounds help people living in the mountains avoid dry throats in the fresh air. Another idea is that the lower air pressure at high altitudes makes these unique sounds more audible. But the mystery is not completely solved. Some experts say that although clothing can affect your language, there are other reasons for language similarity, such as borrowing words from nearby languages or simply being close to each other. However, this study revealed some interesting things. Mountains not only shape our country, but they also leave their mark on speech. Planet Earth sure has multiple processes ongoing to keep it regulated. How and do these processes take place beneath our world? Hidden secrets of the Earth's inner layers. Now, let's go back to the layers of the Earth's inner secrets. Imagine the Earth as a giant onion in space, with many layers below the surface. There are two parts at the core of this planetary onion. The inner core has a very hot and dense center, and the outer core is a swirling sea of molten stuff. This molten dance is followed by the mantle, and finally, the thin shells. Using their imaginary onion peeler, scientists discovered a new layer hidden deep within the solid inner core. This inner core, which is about 2/3 the size of the Moon, is a mixture of nickel and solid iron at temperatures as hot as the surface of the Sun. The outer core, which is nearly 10,000 degrees Fahrenheit, is difficult to study. It's like trying to look through a really dirty window that's 3,200 miles in diameter and full of molten metal. When an earthquake shakes the ground, it sends shock waves through the layers. These waves reveal secrets from below. For the study, the researchers examined data from 100,000 deep earthquakes, some of which were more than 60 miles deep. As these seismic waves travel across the planet, they collapse into different things and change direction. They found out that at an angle of about 60 degrees sideways, the waves make a circuit as they pass through the inner core. This unexpected translation hinted at a mysterious new layer in the Earth's core. In the 1960s, scientists discovered something revolutionary, that the Earth has a regular heartbeat, like a clock ticking every 26 seconds. It's like a big, rhythmic heartbeat that kind of shakes the ground. It's not terrifying because most people don't even feel it, but intelligent scientists can still see this mysterious dance. There are different ideas to this underneath Earth secrets. One idea is that the ocean floor, called the continental shelf, is the key to this earthquake. It's like a huge wave breaker underwater, where the highest part of North America goes down into the deep ocean. According to this belief, the waves hitting this spot make regular beats like drumming, and that causes a subtle shake all over our planet. But some scientists think the shaking might be because of a nearby volcano, adding an explosive twist to the mystery. Let's delve into Earth's rock cycle. Like a cosmic recycling program, the ground is made through an ongoing process, where magma, the hot stuff deep inside the Earth, comes to the surface and turns into rock. Forces like volcanoes, earthquakes, and mountains bring these rocks up, and erosion shapes them into rocks like sandstone. These rocks undergo lots of heat and pressure, which makes them change into different rocks. Sometimes, parts of the Earth's crust crash into each other, pushing rocks below, and magically, the rock turns back into magma, starting the cycle again. There is a riddle about the Earth's axis, which is being affected by climate changes and melting ice, especially in places like the Himalayas and Alaska. The axis, which guides movement, changes subtly over time, and it's still not completely understood. Scientists found that moving a mass of water can affect the Earth's center line, pushing it eastward. Talking about earthquakes, even big ones like a magnitude 8.3 near the Kuril Islands in 2013 might not be felt on the other side of the Earth, but some people reported that they felt it in Australia. The strongest earthquake ever recorded was a magnitude 9.5 in Chile in 1960, causing a big rupture along the country's coast. However, earthquakes with a magnitude of 10 or more are thought to be impossible because we haven't found faults long enough yet. A fault is a crack in the Earth's crust where rocks move against each other, causing earthquakes. No fault long enough has been found to cause earthquakes with a magnitude of 10 or more. An earthquake with a magnitude of 12 will need a fault bigger than the Earth itself, and it will be a huge geological event that goes beyond what we currently know about earthquakes. Delving into the Earth's depths and secrets reveals more and more complexity, surprising us on how the planet works. For instance, one side of the Earth is becoming colder than the other side. This is because the Earth has a special system that keeps it warm from the inside. And deep below the surface is a very hot liquid, so when the Earth spins and at the same time creates a magnetic field and gravity. The Earth's core keeps the atmosphere close to the surface. The sun gives heat to the Earth, mostly on the surface, but the heat doesn't spread evenly everywhere. One side of the Earth, which is the Pacific Hemisphere, is losing heat faster than the African Hemisphere. This is because land holds more heat than the surface. Under the ocean, the seafloor is thinner than the landmass, so the temperature caused by the heat from inside the Earth is getting lower because of a lot of cold water above it. The cloud holds its subtle mystery. Clouds are not just fluffy cotton in the distance, they are quite heavy. They weigh more than 1 million elephants and help control our planet's temperature. If we were to take all the water droplets in clouds and bring them to the surface, they would cover the planet with a very thin layer, like human hair. It might not seem like much, but this water is very important for the climate. Without clouds, we would have warmer temperatures. Would you like to visit any of them? What are your thoughts about these underground mysteries? Leave them in the comment section. And while at it, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more exciting stories.